everybody. Welcome back to D&J's Epic Quest. Just Derek here today, back for another BareBones episode for you. If you're watching on Patreon or YouTube, you might notice I look a little different. I got some stitches, 8 of them. Took a hockey puck to the face last night, so good times. Anyways, I'm here to talk to you about a book that I just finished the other day. What I've got here for you today is In the Shadow of Their Dying. This is the Broken Binding edition. It's a pretty sweet cover, got the sprayed edges and all that good stuff. Let me tell you a little bit about this book here today. The Third Best Assassin, a second-rate mercenary crew. One terrifying demon. As Sharam crumbles under siege, a mercenary crew hires an assassin to kill the king. For Tash, it's a chance at glory, to be the best blade in the dark Sharam has ever known. For Pitt, it's a way to get his cutthroat crew past the sorry siege and out of this hellhole, maybe even with some gold in their name. For Einar, the bound one, it's a dream of shadows and human blood. I don't know if I said the demon's name right there, but that's how I read it in my head. This book, this was really something else for sure. This was written by Anna Smith Spark, and Michael R. Fletcher. I have not read either of their works yet, well, prior to this. So it was kind of neat to get a chance to read both of their works at once. I do have both of them. I have some of their works on my TBR as it is, so I'll get to them at some point. But, you know, it was kind of, like I said, kind of neat to read them together. And they created this world, and it's just full of gore and swearing and violence and some genitals described as weapons of war. If you don't like reading bloody and brutal, gory descriptions, this book is definitely not going to be for you. But if you do like that thing and you haven't read this book yet, you need to change that. You need to pick this book up like ASAP. I think it's actually up for some pretty big award I'd seen on Twitter the other day. But the story is told from alternating perspectives, or at least from what I can tell, Fletcher and Smith, they took turns writing the chapters, like alternate. And I like that format, but I imagine it was kind of hard to do that. Because as I was listening to Pete from the Realm Runners talk to Anna Smith Spark, I'm having a hard time with that name today. They have not met each other, so they're doing this all over the internet, which is pretty cool, but I imagine very difficult as well. And at first, I wasn't sure who wrote which part. I didn't really think about it a whole lot, but there'll be a little bit more on that later. But the first chapter that I got, like that style, that I really liked. It was like the mercenary side of things. It flowed really well. It was written really well. There's a lot of banter and just kind of like making jokes and stuff. The descriptions throughout this book were really good. And then when I got to chapter 2, things changed a lot. You get the point of view of the demon, and the writing was so much different. It was kind of like choppy. The sentences, the structure of them was a lot different. It was shorter just because of this demon whose, like, its native language is not English, as it were. So it was hard to read at first, and I kind of struggled with that. And I wouldn't say I'm a super fast reader by any means, but I had to slow that down. But yeah, you get the point of view of this demon named Einar. Not 100% sure on that. That's just kind of what I'm going with. But like I said, just kind of jarring, but I got used to it. It took a couple chapters, and the character really grew on me, and it was very interesting to continue to get the point of view of a demon in a book, because I don't feel like that's normally something you get. You know, there might be demons in the story, but you don't usually get to get in their head. So I thought that was cool, but I don't want to give too much away. So you got to read this book. And from what I've seen online, you know, some people have said that this style of story has been done to death. The besieged city, all I can say, I've not read too many stories where that's been like the main focus, I guess. I mean, sure, it comes up in other stories, you know, in war and that type of thing. You know, but this book's like 160, 170 pages. It's not real long. It packs a lot in this book. There's even zombies in this book. So Jim, if you check this out, like I messaged you as I was typing up my stuff for this, and I said, if you haven't read this, it needs to be on your radar. It definitely does. I think this would be right up your alley. But some of my favorite parts of this book were involving the sea life. And if you've read this, then you know what I'm talking about. Otherwise, you need to read it and find out. Again, it's a novella, so it isn't going to take up too much of your time. There's really no reason not to read this book as long as you like a dark, gory story. But I will say there is a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. But man, this book, it is brutal. Fletcher and Anna Smith, they do not pull punches. Nobody's safe here, you know. It's a rough ride for everybody involved is about all I can really say. But at the end of the book, Anna Smith Spark, she has some acknowledgments, and she says INR is a character that has lived within her for a long time. It's a glimpse into her soul, which to me was interesting, and it makes me wonder if maybe there's some feelings of being like misunderstood or something along those lines. I don't know. I'm not sure, and I don't want to put words in her mouth or anything like that. It's just kind of some thoughts from a random guy who read this book and found that interesting to say that. So I'm curious where that came from, and as I thought on it, maybe that's where my mind went to a little bit. If I'm right or wrong on it doesn't matter. Just my thoughts and speculation. But I would give this book 4 gory piles of intestines out of 5. I would recommend that you read it. And as always, appreciate you guys watching, listening. Help us out, like, subscribe, check out the authors online as well. Give Michael Fletcher, Anna Smith Spark a follow as well if you're not already. It was a really good book, a lot of fun, not going to take up a lot of time. Thanks again, everybody. Take care. We'll see you next time.